going to leave us like LeBron left us?
No. I won't leave. How can I leave you guys?
This year has been an atrocity for Kyrie.
This guy's one of the worst teammates you could possibly have.
There is not a Net fan in New York who cares about Kyrie Irving. This is a goodbye and good riddance.
Been a losing player his entire career in the NBA without LeBron. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't get his teammates involved.
Kyrie Irving threatened to have a knee surgery if the Cavs didn't trade him.
You guys will have me back. I plan on re-signing here next year.
What do you think the other 14 guys are in the car going home saying? We can't wait till this guy gets out of here.
Did you speak to LeBron James or talk to LeBron James before you let them know that you wanted out? Huh? Why not?
Why would I have to?
Do you care about that at all?
No.
He killed Cleveland. He killed the Celtics. He killed the Nets.
Have we been told the truth about Kyrie Irving? Is he really the bad person he has been painted out to be? We have heard. Why has he been such a bad teammate? Why would he leave LeBron and then badmouth LeBron? Why did he leave and badmouth Boston? Why is he saying the earth is flat? Did he really like a documentary that supported? We have certainly heard all of that. What we have not heard recently are not only phrases such as 8-time NBA All-Star and NBA champion, but also a loving father of two, an active giver to the community to the tune of upwards of millions of dollars. That's what the Kai Foundation says. And also a devoted husband. We've heard those things about Steph Curry and LeBron James, but we have not heard those things about Kyrie Irving. And so we are heading into this video with no bias. I want to find out with you, why is Kyrie Irving clearly the man with the biggest target on his back in the entire NBA, and have they been lying to us all along? So what's up guys, Mike here, and when it comes to Kyrie, I will admit along this eventful, to say the least, journey, I myself have questioned why Kyrie has acted the way he has acted. I've questioned what are Kyrie's intentions, but really as we dive into this video, I found a lot of the answers to those questions when I dug a bit deeper. Kyrie has made amends for a lot of the things he has said in the past, but often Kyrie's apologies or his statements on those actions have gone severely underreported and overlooked. But still, the question does remain. Does Kyrie put this target on himself? That is what many believe, with the thought being, for someone who says they want to stay out of the news, why is Kyrie always in the headlines? An interesting question, and one that gets extremely confusing when Stephen A himself has said this recently. Just listen to the end of this because it is wildly proof that Stephen A, the media, had a personal grudge against Kyrie Irving and was painting Kyrie out to be worse than he was. He says it.
When that stuff happened with Kyrie, unbeknownst to the public, the father, loving his son, was coming to his defense by sending me text messages that quite frankly I didn't appreciate. We were at the Staples Center. Kyrie rose up on me and he was like, "It's really not about me anymore." And I looked at him and I said, "You're right. It had become about me and his dad." And the shame of it is the younger son was the one that had to educate us. Kyrie Irving is right. And I called his father and we resolved everything. When you're a man, you own up and you fess up to the things that you did wrong. And I'm gonna always be that dude.
But before we continue guys, I am very excited to thank Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. And if you did not know, Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively, which in my opinion is the best way to learn by far. I've used Brilliant and I have found it to be fun and interactive. There are thousands of lessons from basic to advanced topics, and new lessons are added every single month. Now personally, diving into the topic of data science to me was very interesting. Using Brilliant's new course, Exploring Data Visually, I'm able to learn skills that help me with videos just like this one, and really that fits their message because whatever your skill level, Brilliant customizes content to fit your needs, and they let you solve at your own pace. Brilliant is an essential tool for advancing your career. It is such an effective way to learn, and you can get started for free for 30 days and get 20% off an annual plan by visiting brilliant.org/Mike Korzemba. That is brilliant.org/Mike Korzemba to start for free for 30 days and get 20% off your annual plan. Thank you again to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. For now, let's get back into that video. So we just heard Stephen A not only admit that he was coming at Kyrie harder on television than Kyrie Kyrie deserved because Stephen A had his own personal beef with Kyrie Irving's father. And then Kyrie taught Stephen A a lesson in manhood and then all was well? If we want proof that personal biases can get in the way of the media pushing its own agenda, we just heard it, he just admitted it. And this video has several occurrences like this. Not always is Kyrie in the father role, sometimes he may even be in the wrong, but oftentimes the full story does not get reported. But oftentimes it feels like the full story gets clouded. We are going to focus on the Cavs, Celtics, and Nets in this video. We are going to look at the 3 teams currently that Kyrie has had on his journey and check in on 3 things. 1, why was there so much controversy on these 3 teams? 2, whose fault was this controversy? And 3, did Kyrie grow as a person from all of this? Did he learn lessons? We already know what happens from guys that don't learn from their mistakes. They are out of the league. They are the red hot NBA all-stars who suddenly fall off out of nowhere, which is less common now, but a young Stephon Marbury and a young Steve Francis were once an electrifying young point guard battle that lit up the NBA in the early to mid 2000s. Only both of these multiple-time all-stars were playing in China by the age of 32. That's where that joke came from. Kyrie is 31 and has looked incredible as of late. His stats prove it. His off-season workouts prove it. If there's one thing you cannot deny or take away from Kyrie, it is that the man loves basketball. He is a hooper in the truest sense. He may be on a solo grind that some of us do not understand, but some of that is his personal life. I don't think we have to understand some of it, to be honest. What I do know is that grind always shows Kyrie Irving playing basketball at an absurdly high level when healthy. The Cleveland Cavaliers crumbled to the ground after LeBron James left, but they also got swept in the NBA Finals the year after Kyrie left, as it was clear that LeBron had no help whatsoever. And it's here where it needs to be pointed out, if Kyrie Irving does not get injured a few times during his career, his legacy would change forever. Not only was Kyrie not able to participate in the 2015 Finals fully. Remember that? When LeBron was able to bring the Warriors to 6 games without Kyrie and Kevin Love? It is definitely true. Winning changes everything. And when you go off a path of, I want to be my own superstar, I want to do this on my own, if you win going down that path, everyone loves you. Look at Kobe Bryant. But if you never win, people say you were selfish. And that is one of the biggest narratives in this story of Kyrie Irving. Almost winning and key horrible injuries. However, this video is fair. And being fair, when leaving Cleveland, Kyrie Irving was not great. Kyrie himself, though, has admitted he left in bad fashion. It was reported that when Kyrie was unhappy with not being the #1 star on the team, quote, former Cavs forward James Jones said he saw Irving go consecutive days without speaking to a teammate at practice between the first and second rounds of the NBA playoffs. Yes, you heard that right. Kyrie was going to practices during the playoffs and purposely not speaking to teammates. That's not a great look. And Kyrie would follow this up by demanding a trade and then telling the Cavaliers front office that if they did not trade him, he would get surgery that would end his season, basically forcing their hand. And then he ended up getting injured, so maybe he needed the surgery, but as Kyrie has said since this, when looking back at, again, what he has called a mistake, quote, I had to call Bron and tell him I apologize for being that young player that wanted everything at his fingertips. I wanted to be the guy that led us to a championship. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be all that. Sometimes getting the most out of the group is not the easiest thing in the world. Fewer are meant for it or chosen for it. And I felt like the best person to call was him. That is a statement that to me sounds like Kyrie has learned from his past experiences. What gets reported though is this type of news.
You know, I felt like I was the best option on every team I played for, you know, down the stretch. This is the first time in my career where I could look down and be like, that motherfucker can make that shot too.
Now, it is hard to not think of LeBron James in that moment, I feel like. Kyrie had a video response to this, though.
Why must it always be brother against brother? If I'm addressing anyone, I'll say their name. Come on, y'all. Don't listen to the false narratives.
He's saying don't listen to the false narratives, which is really, when you think about it, its own way of saying that Kyrie does not agree with the statement that LeBron was not to be trusted in the clutch. He's saying, do not listen to the false narratives. The narratives were Kyrie did not trust LeBron. Then over to Boston. We know this famous clip where Kyrie says that he's going to stay in Boston if they'll have him.
You guys will have me back. I plan on re-signing here next year.
Whoa!
So what happened here? Well, yes, Kyrie did promise to stay and then definitely left to the Brooklyn Nets. But again, winning would have cured all. In his first official game as a Celtic, Kyrie threw a lob to all-star Gordon Hayward that ended in this. Hayward would lose his entire season with this injury, and then Kyrie himself was then injured in the regular season, but Boston still made the Eastern Conference Finals despite the fact they were missing 2 high-level all-stars. If Kyrie was never injured, I think they do take the Cavaliers down. I think they do reach the finals. But of course, the real question is, why did Kyrie leave after promising? He didn't have to promise in the first place. Well, here's the best explanation I have found from Jared Sullinger. Sullinger has said, I think I basically found out that his issues with some of the younger guys, Jalen and Jason, were real, but so was the stuff going inside his head coming out of that bad knee injury in the summer of 18. He goes to Vegas with KD and their entourage. One day, who shows up in the bleachers at the secret pickup game but Bill Russell? So they talked about Boston, they talked about race, and we can get into that in a second. But then he goes to the Standing Rock Reservation where he kind of sets his spirits straight with his Sioux roots. He promises the fans up there in Boston that he'd sign an extension, and then his grandfather died. So that he ended up telling KD, quote, anything I was doing in basketball, I didn't really care. And then poof, he was done with Boston. That is the answer. My only full thoughts here are that this was very unfortunate to Boston fans, but also if this was really based off of the loss of a very close family member, that is always very tough. I also do not think that Kyrie wants this Boston mark on him. I don't think he wants an entire city to dislike him in this way. I don't think he wanted to evilly fool them or something. Clearly something did change in his mind here. And then we have Brooklyn, where fast forward to 2021, the Nets were not only a Kevin Durant normal shoe size away from making the finals. Yes, this shot happened in the second round, but remember, after this shot,
Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes!
The question is, was his toe on the line? And it looks like from that angle, it was on the line.
Famously, this was a 2. This game would go into overtime, the Bucks would win, and then the Bucks won the NBA Finals this season. The Nets were not only right there with Durant, but also remember, both Kyrie Irving and James Harden were completely injured this series, and both could only play in 4 games. I love Giannis. I refuse to believe he meant anything malicious by this, but watch as Giannis injures Kyrie in game 4.
Nearly knocked away by Holiday. Boy, this is a very physical game. As Irving throws it in, goes down hard on his right shoulder. He's shaken up. Now he's holding his right leg. It's 5-on-4.
The Nets were up 2-1 here. They could have won the finals that year. All 3 of Harden, Durant, and Kyrie's legacies would have changed, but we have injuries. And then we have the off-the-court controversies and the good that Kyrie Irving has done. We're getting into both right now. In regards to the flat earth controversy, Kyrie Irving later said this.
At the time, I was like huge into conspiracies. Everybody's been there. So yeah, I'm sorry about all that, for all the science teachers, everybody coming up to me like, I gotta reteach my whole curriculum. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
In regards to the vaccine, more people are certainly on Kyrie's side for holding his ground now than there were before. And Kyrie also faced every single repercussion for not listening to the NBA there. He could not play in those games. He took the fines. He was punished for it. In terms of Steve Nash, we've only heard bad things. I will say we've gotten reports such as Kyrie ignored Steve Nash's play call over 10 times in a single game. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. An NBA scout told the Washington Post Nash would call something and he'd run the opposite. And this was also after Kyrie began his relationship with Steve Nash by saying that
I don't really see us having a head coach. You know what I mean? Like KD could be a head coach. I could be a head coach.
So I do think that the 2-time MVP Steve Nash deserved a bit more respect here, I will say. That is just my opinion though, but I will also say there have been huge headlines about this and Steve Nash has not made a peep. He has not made it a point to come out and defend Kyrie. So this may be a situation where silence speaks volumes. And finally, of course, what is the deal with the documentary? Yes, woke community, you can dig deeper if you want, but going deeper on this, Kyrie liked a post that mentioned a documentary, and that documentary was about a conspiracy theory or a fact, who am I to say? This, whatever we want to call it, goes, that black people are the true descendants of ancient Israelites and that Jewish people used lies to take their identity. That is written on this article. It's not what I came up with. That is what this documentary is all about. Now, in regards to this, Kyrie himself has said, "I oppose all forms of hatred and oppression and stand strong with communities that are marginalized and impacted every day. I'm aware of the negative impact of my posts towards the Jewish community, and I take responsibility. I do not believe everything said in the documentary was true or reflects my morals and principles. I am a human being learning from all walks of life, and I intend to do so with an open mind and a willingness to listen." These are the words of Kyrie Irving, and at the end of the day, words are cheap. It is actions that matter the most. And so looking at the actions of Kyrie Irving that must be included in this video, we are looking at his works of charity and his lovingness as a father/husband. After his wife gave birth to a second child, Kyrie said, "My wife is a warrior. I'm just going to say that. Women are everything, especially after they give birth, even before they give birth. But after they give birth, you just want to give them their space to bond. I've just been playing caretaker at home, cooking for her, making sure her feet are massaged, making sure I'm doing everything possible as a husband to make sure she's taken care of." Sounds like a loving man. In terms of giving back to the community, Kyrie Irving's Kai Foundation has created Feeding America, a nationwide network of over 200 food banks. Forbes ranked it as the second largest charity by revenue. Here we have $1.5 million donated to WNBA players. Then we have $323,000 donated during the pandemic. The list here does go on. The man is a giver and it is never covered. A Google search of Kyrie Irving giving back to the community will show you a ton. So what cannot be denied about all three of Kyrie Irving's times with his three different teams is that with all three, there were extreme highs, extreme lows, and controversy. But there was also winning and injuries. So with the Dallas Mavericks, I do expect to see a lot of winning. And I think the pair of Luka and Kyrie, if they're able to tap into both of their true talents, the sky is the limit for what they can do. So I want to know what you think will happen with both the Mavericks and Kyrie and the rest of Kyrie's career. And what do you think about Kyrie in general? Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. This comment section probably is going to be interesting. If you did enjoy, please subscribe and turn on post notifications. That way you never miss a video. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are two videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. I mean, personally, I think the one on the left might be more your style, but the one on the right looks pretty awesome too. Click one, let me know what you think. And again, have an awesome day.